2 years. It has been 2 years since then. 2 years since we were embarrassed on the world stage. And we have so much we're going to talk about tonight on our special about the military and where we're at and what are our capabilities. And it's going to be China, Russia, it's going to be Afghanistan. But I just want everybody to understand something. I want you to understand it really well. We have existed in a nation that has been so peaceful for so long because we have been so strong, nobody would really want to challenge us in a significant way. Those times are changing. You're going to hear some things on the show that are going to be hard to hear, hard for me to report on, talk about our capabilities, about which countries have better abilities than we do in certain areas now. But this is why I've been warning for so long. This is why I've been screaming over and over and over again about focus. When we rant and rave against all this cultural Marxist commie garbage going on in the military, it's more than just a cultural thing or an ideological thing. You don't have time to turn the military into some gigantic woke pile of crap. You don't have time. Unless, of course, you're building a different kind of military for a different purpose. You see, if I wanted to build a military to fight China and Russia, I'd go grab a bunch of type A males. If I wanted to find a military that's, let's say, would hurt you, I'd go with Rachel Jones.
Hi, I'm Major Rachel Jones, and what Pride means to me is celebrating that diversity is our strength as a nation and as an army. Pride means something very special to me as a LGBTQ individual, and it's a chance to show everyone what we have to offer in terms of the diverse skill sets that we bring and the diverse ways of thinking we bring into the team to make everything work better.
Yeah, we're doing well. Joining me now, Kristina Wong, Breitbart News, Pentagon correspondent. Kristina, all right, I'm going to read a sentence here that I can't believe I'm reading, but quote, shadow investigation to hunt down and silence a military whistleblower for mean tweets. That shadow investigation was conducted by a 3-star general and associate professor at West Point. Do I have that right?
You do have that right, and I can see on the screen it says exposing rot within the U.S. military, and that's exactly what this story is about and exposes, that there's rot in our general officer corps, there's rot at West Point and throughout the military. So essentially, this 3-star Army general had the time, took it upon herself, along with an associate professor at West Point, to hunt down a soldier who is a whistleblower who used his online account, Twitter, Instagram, and not just one soldier. These were several soldiers. And what they would do is they would expose, wrongdoing like jet fuel leaking onto a U.S. aircraft carrier, things like that. So this Army general and this West Point professor worked together to find out who was running these accounts so that they could report this person to Army Criminal Investigative Division, as well as the Inspector General, to try to silence and punish this person. And the reason they did it was not just because they were exposing wrongdoing, but because they were against the DoD vaccine mandate. And so that was the mortal sin, and that's why they hunted down the soldier responsible for the account.
Kristina, you're all over this stuff. How many commie activists do we have now in the general staff of this military?
At this point, there's probably too many to count. We don't know who, unless they come out and tweet. It's not called Twitter anymore, but unless they come out and post something on social media, we don't know, who within the officer corps is woke or, is corrupt. But luckily, enough of them do, and that's how we find out, what they're really thinking. We had a retired Army general who also features in the story, and he was the one who directed a lot of this political retribution. He was the guy, I don't know if you remember, the guy who tweeted he got into a fight with a Marine veteran on Twitter over COVID, and the Marine veteran says to him, there's many more troops who are dying of suicide than COVID. The Army general was pushing for everyone to get the vaccine and everything. So the Army general goes, "Hey, Hillsdale, come get your boy," and he was talking about the Marine Veterans Graduate School. And so this played out online. And so we didn't know, so that sort of exposed that general. And so these are the types of folks that we have in our General Officer Corps. These are the types of folks who are hunting down whistleblowers, soldiers who are exposing the wrongdoing. This is outside of their lane. This is outside of their duty. The general in question in the article, she's the deputy commander of training and doctrine command. They essentially set doctrine for the rest of the Army. They're responsible for training soldiers in the entire Army. And yet she has time to hunt down, along with this Army major, this West Point professor, to find out, via Google searches, via the online military address book list, to hunt down this soldier's service record, doing things that she shouldn't be doing, and saying she was going to call her good friend, the Army Inspector General. She was going to, push this guy's name to Army CID, basically, weaponizing the military justice system and things we have in place to protect soldiers, basically personally using those systems for political retribution because this person was anti-vaccine.
Kristina, what's morale like? Look, I know the friends I have that are still in, and the texts I get are not good at all.
No, yeah, I mean, the morale has not improved any. I think the military is struggling with recruiting, and so I think there's a push to sort of, keep these, to sort of quiet down on the political stuff. But as you can see, this kind of stuff is still happening. They're just not being talked about. So I think morale is still pretty bad, even though Republicans overturned the vaccine mandate. You don't forget something like this. And a lot of troops were kicked out of the military. They want to come back, and a lot of troops won't forget what happened. So I think morale is still pretty bad in the military, and that's borne out by the recruitment numbers. You have the Army likely failing with recruitment again this year. The Marine Corps is doing okay. So, to your former services credit, but it's still pretty bad across the board.
You want to watch our special on George Washington? It's freaking awesome. Well, you can. All you have to do is become a First TV supporter. That gives you access to all of our specials on demand, and it's cake. All you have to go to is thefirsttv.com/support. Thefirsttv.com/support. Become a supporter. Enjoy learning about George Washington.